Hello, everybody, and today we are going to talk about very important topic. I think I did at least one video before. It's called "Emotional or Not," but I think when I put the name on the video like "emotional," many people give it a totally different meaning or explanation, so maybe they don't respond to uh, you know to this particular name. The thing is, in human design chart, it's very important. One of the very important part is that when we look at the body graph, we check if the solar plexus is defined, because if you listened to my inner authority video, no matter what type you are, but if you have a solar plexus defined, your inner authority is emotional. And I also think that the word emotional has a lot of associations that are not correctly understood when in terms of when we speak about human design. So if you have emotional defined authority, if your solar plexus is defined, there is no truth for you in the moment. No truth for you in the moment, which means as you live through your process, emotional process, which is we call the wave of the solar plexus, we call it emotional wave, which means that as you move through your spectrum of the feeling, which starts like very low and then goes up, here is a certain peak. Doesn't necessarily mean that you appear very emotional here, but the feeling on the peak and the feeling of the on the bottom of the wave are absolutely two different feelings. And if I have a decision to make, for example, I'm considering to buy an apartment or a car, and I simply cannot find it inside of myself what is the right thing for me to do. So when I see this apartment, and for example, my emotional wave is here, or when I see the apartment and my emotional is here, we are going to have absolutely two different feelings, maybe even the opposite one. And so we have to go for over a month, sometimes more, so we can go through our emotional wave and to get clarity on emotional clarity on that feeling. I think this is more correct for me than the other thing, or now I understand why I prefer this and I don't prefer the other. Because every time when you try to make a decision and you are in a moment somewhere, that is just a moment in your process of emotional wave, and every moment has a different color, has a different feeling. So I strongly recommend you, one of the first things when you're looking at your chart, to understand if you're open emotionally or you are emotionally defined, and get a very profound explanation on what is emotional process. It also depends on the channels. We have different channels that define us emotionally. They have different frequencies and they can feel differently. I'm open emotionally, but I have been surrounded with a lot of emotional people, and I think I can understand the process. I ask questions in order to help the person define their own process. And, um, and not all the people appear really emotional when they're on the top, and some explain that when they're on the bottom of their wave they just feel quiet. They describe it as a quiet feeling. Maybe they prefer to stay on their own, less interaction. And some people relate to colors, other people relate to body sensations, to describe how their emotional wave is changing. But just this is a common truth. You cannot make a decision in a particular moment, because when you wake up tomorrow and you look back at this moment, your feeling has already changed. So even if you're a generator and you're responding, your response has to go through the emotional wave. This is the biggest difference between emotionally defined and emotionally undefined people. Those who are emotionally undefined can be affected, impacted, influenced in the moment by the emotions of others. And they can, and because emotional feeling can be such a strong feeling, generators can confuse this with response. Emotional projectors are here to really pay attention how really slow they are and how carefully they have to allow that emotional process to unfold, because being open in the sacral, which projectors are, and then being defined emotionally gives a particular importance to the emotional wave, how it's driving you, how it's your motor, how it's energizing you. Um, I have spoken to so many emotionally defined people, and I think it takes about a year to 3 years to get familiar with your particular emotional process, to define it, to realize what it is, to befriend it, and to become an expert on your emotional wave, to feel when it's starting, when it's changing, and when it's getting to its peak, and how your emotional process feels to you, how it impacts you, what is clarity. Some people confuse clarity with a mental, emotional clarity with mental clarity. No, mental clarity is like black and white. So emotional clarity, when you're clear on something, it never feels like 100%, but you're somehow settled with, yeah, I know this is not okay for me, or I understood why I don't like this or that. I hope this topic is particularly interesting for you. In the end, we are 50% of population on Earth is emotionally defined, and I'm going to make another video about this so that this video is not getting too long.